I am live today. You can actually see me. I am not frozen. Yay. How you doing, friends? This is the 0DTE morning market analysis. And exciting week. Lots of things going on. The G7 is in town. It opens up this morning under a storm cloud of currency tensions, tariff gamemanship, and a Fed narrative that just won't settle. Traders, this is a fertile, fat-tail ground. And I'll talk a little bit more about Fattail and the developments there in a moment. But this morning's spotlight is on the G7 summit kickoff in Italy, where global finance ministers are wrestling over competitive devaluations and trade friction, all while central bank policy goes from coordinated to chaotic. And I'm sure they're all beating up on Trump or trying to, but he's not going to let them. Actually, I'm sure that they're probably holding their tongues because they're not sure how that will set them off. But Bloomberg reports a renewed USD strength and hints back at back channel rifts on coordinated responses. Who wrote this shit? Oh yeah, it's me. On coordinated responses to tariff backlash. That was a tongue twister. Bloomberg reports renewed USD strength and hints at back-channel rifts. What the hell's a back-channel rift? I guess we'll find out. On coordinated responses to tariff backlash. I have no idea what that sentence means. I'll have to look it up. I need my AI, which is what I'm going to talk about in a little bit. But add to that the full Fed speech docket today of Bostic, Barkin, Muslim, Daly, and the stage is set for another Volatility whisper session. In other words, volatility is going to be dictated by these these Fed speeches that are being given all over the place. If you, I'll show you the, the Fed economic calendar. That's it. You know, usually I look at the economic calendar in the morning. I go to Forex Factory and I see all these different economic reports. But from Monday all the way to Thursday, well, Thursday is the first real economic report that comes out. Everything else is just FOMC members with speeches. Anyways, getting back to volatility whispers, traders should be watching out for sudden pivots in the U.S. dollar correlations. Tech tariff pressure, say that 10 times fast. Tech tariff pressure on mega caps, it could be me, and narrative breaks in the Fed's inflation versus growth stance. This is the kind of uncertainty that makes deep out-of-the-money butterflies thrive, especially with our fat tail setups. In fact, we have a trade that we're putting on for next week, just given all of this G7 talk. All right. So that's it for that, and now we're going to go to our 0DT analysis. Let me find where the hell the charts are. There we go. And, first time. Bam. Is it going there? Did I do it? Yes, I did. I was there and I didn't know it. All right. As you know, with our 0DTE out-of-the-money butterflies, our intraday trade, that's where we look at the VIX to determine the width of our flies. We look at the market direction to determine our directional bias, and we look at market structure to see where the entry opportunity is. All right. So we can see that the VIX is, it's down a little bit from yesterday, that's for sure. And but we're still in the Goldilocks zone, and that means that we're somewhere between 20 and 30 wide for trades today. And so we're looking for that 10% of the 10% debit, or the debit should be 10% of the width of the fly. So that means somewhere between $2 and $3 for your SPX flies. We try to get a little bit under that so that we can get closer to a 1 to 10 risk to reward. A 10% of the width debit would result in a 1 to 9. But that should produce good results. All right. And let's go to the market direction. The directional bias, it is still up. Even though we're seeing this little red doji that has happened, that means hardly anything happened overnight. We're just kind of flat. We'll see that in a moment. But the directional bias is still up. We're not making very big ranges in our moves as of late, right? We're getting some compression, and that's because the market is looking to take off for those new all-time highs, in my opinion. And we'll take a look at that coming up. So here you can see overnight, just sideways movement, really nothing. Let's see, at 3 a.m., the euro opened up and things elevated a little bit since then, but not much movement. I mean, it's as if Europe doesn't exist. I know you're out there. All right, and let's look at the big picture. All right, so here's our morning. We're looking at potentially taking a long off if price comes down to this 59.57 level, which is a structural level. That's why I have that little arrow there. That's what it's showing. But you can also see that we're well above the top knot node and into this low area of low liquidity. And so anything could move the market. I mean, if any of these Fed dudes and gals decide to go off script, then the market's going to move. And anything can happen in the G7, man. I mean, we're waiting for sparks to fly, but nothing. Well, I mean, it's only today that it starts, but we are waiting for sparks to fly. And let's look at the big picture volume profile. You can see, okay, there's the top of the top node right there. And so here we are moving up through the stair step. Actually, we're outside. We're away from that low liquidity area. That's this black area right here. Let me take away some of the lines so you can see that. See right there? That's that. We moved right up. I call this the top knot. And then these are the stair steps, stairway to heaven. 1, 2, 3 stairs to heaven. Once we get beyond this guy, it is see ya, going for that all-time high. There should be a fair amount of resistance right here. You can see this sort of minor node here. There doesn't look like a lot of places where it resisted from the downside up, but it did provide some support once we get above that. So I think that once we get above that, it's going to be easy to stair step, like I said, stair step to heaven. All right, there you go. And let me bring on this one other thing. This segment has been brought to you by the Fattail AI. The Fattail AI is a Skool community that you're going to love because it takes 0DTE out of the money trades, which are essentially tail risk trades, and pushes it out to all-time extremes. And so that's what we're doing here at Fattail. So let me just show you that community. I got to get over here, get the little clicker. And let's see, that is Safari, Fattail. There we go. There's Fattail AI. It is a Fattail strategy, which is similar to our 0DTE trade, but taking it out to more days to expiration and really pushing it out there, looking for huge moves. And we have a setup for next week. We have several setups for next week, considering the G7. And so what we're looking for are these big moves that go from 1.5 to 3 standard deviations. And this strategy will catch those and return big money. And so we've been quite successful at that. This community is $197 a year. Go join it. Go to Fattail AI. There's also a huge AI component to this with really state-of-the-art AI infrastructure. You'll learn all about how to interact with AI, how to create your own master prompt, how to create multi-agent systems for your own GPTs. Really incredible. All right, so that's all I get to say about that. All right, well, thank you, friends. I'm going to wrap this one up a little early. Got lots to do today. Thank you very much for joining me. Can't find the button. There it is. Coach Ernie out.